February the 2nd, 2017. Unit 2 in Japan's Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant is up around 666 sievers. 5 sievers will kill you, drop you to your knees, and you ain't getting back up. They're only sending in the homeless and the destitute and the immigrants and the victims of society. And we are here to yell at these people for being monsters when they're only supposed to be a fiction. Monsters are not supposed to be real. If you're not familiar who I am, congratulations. You're probably like most of the planet. Dana Durnford, the nuclear proctologist. You're heard me.org. I'm an all-around good person. Genuine, real. I don't have any pompous arrogance. I don't come from an elitist mindset. I wish I did. How do you save a nuclear scientist from drowning? It's really easy. You take your foot off his head when they're waterboarding him. Yeah. The trenches over in Japan at that reactor building they're talking about, number 2, 3 billion becquerels a liter of extreme high levels. So what that means is that's a death sentence for anybody that is in that environment. A very dangerous and very frightening thing. When you breathe in one of these, you're in a lot of trouble. But the people that are going near it are getting x-rays and gamma shines and alpha bursts. These are much different. What you're looking at in this headline was the second explosion at the plant, at the petrochemical plant. Now, they were showing pictures of this, but they weren't telling you what was going on. 3,400 drums of radioactive material just in that single spot. To put that in the context, a Dixie cup of this stuff can kill everybody in a restaurant inside of 20 minutes. And it can do that for millions of years. And you store it in drums because what the frig else you going to do with it? If you try to contain it, you have to vent everything. It's vented. All of those drums are vented. Now, because of all the radiation released from nuclear reactors and from your community, just from your hospitals, but what came over from Japan's reactors was really something else. You want to think about cloves. Cloves is a spice, and a lot of people don't use it very often, only at certain times of the year. But you can use them from just about anything, any meal. You can include cloves. But you can look up what they suggest. It's vitamin C and K and calcium, magnesium, manganese, omega-3, fiber, vitamins, minerals. It's all there in a single clove. How frigged up is that? Now, in Britain, UK, they have a place called Sellafield. I'm trying to build a picture for everybody. The Brits. Let's try something different here. Since the start of its operation, Sellafield, it's had hundreds of accidents. And right now, there's around 8 million liters of contaminated water on a daily basis. making the Irish Sea the most radioactive sea at that time in the world. 8 million liters. And so we got the wireless mic. All right, so you can't put it in your pocket because you're sitting down. And so we still got to get the kinks out of it, but sometimes the best way to do it is during a live stream like we're doing right now. And let's play that clip. They're only censoring you because they love you. That's why they got to do these things besides getting a paycheck. And so you're being censored, whether you know it or not. Facebook does it to you. Google's doing it to you. And since Japan's meltdown, we've seen this censorship show up that is inseparable from surveillance. This is not just something that's coming and going like a trend. This is the real deal. This is a really good one here. 8-year-old girl raises her pH levels and shrinks her cancer tumors by 75% with a diet. You should read the story. It's a good story. These are very important stories. 16 more reasons black seed, I keep doing that, is the remedy for everything but death. So black seeds are just something you should have in your diet. 2 grams of black seed a day reduced fasting glucose and decreased insulin resistance and beta cell functions and hemoglobin. And this is for diabetics you're talking about on that side. But this is one of the first things you will see showing up from radiation illnesses is diabetes. The government is always like, why don't people trust us? You get a warrant for 5,000 people. Not that they're guilty, but you got a warrant for 5,000 people. But yet we find that you monitor 3 million people with that equipment. But why should anybody trust you? Why shouldn't we despise you? Why shouldn't we be terrified of you? Why shouldn't we want to get rid of you? Why shouldn't we try to convict you? Why shouldn't we be ashamed of you? Why shouldn't your family hate and despise you? Obviously, you are a fucking scumbag. Tell him, buddy. I love that guy. He's so good. Just got to get his microphone to work proper. So there's a couple of different microphones. These are the cheap ones, but they're indispensable. So I bought this equipment, then I raised money after, and that got me into trouble. Oops. I won't do that no more. But it was one of the few pieces of equipment I got no excuses for not having. I should have bought a long time ago. It was so necessary. And so now I have to get the kinks out of it, so you got to put up with this shit. 36 foods that help detox and cleanse your entire body. And this is practiced for thousands of years by cultures around the world. Detoxification is about resting, cleaning, nourishing the body from the inside out by eliminating, removing toxins and feeding your body with healthy nutritions. And detoxifying protects you from disease or helps and renews your ability to maintain a working system, like greasing your joints up on your car, going and getting your car maintenance done. You have to do this kind of stuff. Artichokes. 36 foods. You can go find the article and read it. You don't need me to put a link to shit when you got it right there in front of you. I'm sure you can go 36 foods that help detox and clean the entire body and say, dude, I put no links below. Because I'm assuming you got 10 digits like me. Just saying. For years, there's been allegations that the Italian mafia was using the sea, and this is not no longer allegations. but about 40 ships disappeared full of radioactive waste. Fuel rods and reactor cores, and you name it. Hundreds of barrels eventually break open. Whoa! Slow down! It's already full of nuclear waste. Go back! Go back! That's going down the rabbit hole. And there's over 1,600 studies on turmeric. 600 potential health benefits from studies. It's just one study of the 1,600. It actually protects against radiation-induced damage. And it destroys cancer stem cells, arguably the root of all cancer, and destroys multi-drug resistant cancers, and reduces inflammation, protects against heavy metal toxicity, and prevents and reversing Alzheimer's diseases. It's just a tiny handful of 1,600 studies. Having a freak time with this microphone because of that shit, right? Can't stand it. So I have to switch back to that other microphone in the next few minutes if I don't sort this out. My apologies. But anyway, here's 600 reasons turmeric may be the world's most important herb. You can put it on cuts. Put it on cuts. Owie. And then bridge is falling down. La la la, la la la. This is London Bridge, right? These particular stories. When you think about it. Yeah, I know this seems like an everyday headline, but media is calling 3-year-olds racist and homophobic because they're racist and homophobic themselves. Well, really, you can't really possibly get much more messed up than that. Let's run up for a second. The radiation from these reactors, when you spray the salt water on the melted reactors, this is the one that looks best. We covered this for the last couple of streams, high detailed. But 360 plus atoms of radioactivity, radioactive sulfur. So the atoms are, like the best way to think of the atom, because I'm not going to start swearing if I can avoid it, but think of the atom as something that emits every second. Just pulses every second. Pulses and pulses and pulses. I'm going to change out this microphone. Just hang on a second. Bear with us. Mic check. We'll get it. Mic in. Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's enough spitting for everybody for this morning. I'll watch it after and I'll get some inspiration when I watch it and figure it out what I'm actually doing. But for the meantime, no need to have that on my lap, hung up. And the other mic don't matter. I took that out of the way. Here we go. Now these numbers are frightening friggin' numbers, okay? They're frightening numbers. Let's just dodge back for 1 second. Excuse me. And a quick reminder. Imagine breathing in that. Imagine why you picked all of that up. 30 million one-ton bags. Because you have these reactors. And this is the mixed oxide fuel. MOX fuel. I'm going to play a clip coming up here in a few seconds. I just want to show you the reactors. They don't look like that on the inside, even though they claim they do. But, right, it looks like that, and that's why they picked up 30 million of these 1-ton bags. Right, they're picking up all these bags, not for something to do, not as a make-work project. No, they're doing it because these reactors are in desperation mode. There's nothing normal about this. And there is nothing normal about that. Okay? There's nothing normal about this. These are the homeless, the destitute, the victims of society. And those suits do not protect you from radiation. It doesn't protect you from the fuel rods that are spread all over that site right now as you look there. It's gamma shine and X-rays and neutrons will go right through them and out and hit the other person. The suit is meant to stop the particles from gathering up on your clothing, and so that you can keep your clothing, bring it home and do laundry, so to speak. But those suits, if you do laundry, you contaminate everything that ever goes into that washer again. You have to get rid of it, and burning is not an option for 1 billion years. Think about what happened to that country. 30 million bags is just a tiny fraction of what came out of these buildings. They can't deal with the water. These tanks are actually emitting. These are homeless. These people died. Everybody you see working at Fukushima died. Except for Rupert, because he wasn't really at Fukushima. Right? He's claiming he's inside the roof of that building. Yeah? And you're letting him get away with it. You let him get away with it. You sat by. He's still working for them. They done it to you on purpose. BBC, fake news, lied to you. This is a murderous lie. Rupert is caught red-handed saying the words that he's at Unit 4 is patently not true. It doesn't look like that. The buildings were completely wrecked, yeah? Okay, let's come over, play these clips coming up. Gonna get back on track. Computer's been a little hard to get along with here this morning.
The physicist Michio Kaku this morning. Dr. Kaku, great to have you. And you heard just moments ago the Prime Minister calling this breach grave and serious. And as you know, Doctor, I was in Japan for days, and rarely did the Prime Minister come out in this way, apologizing and using those words. What does this tell you?
This is huge. For the first time, they're using that dreaded word breach, meaning uncontrolled release of radiation into the environment. And remember that Unit 3, which is suspected to have the breach, contains plutonium. Plutonium is the most toxic chemical known to science.
Now, that's
speck
Unit
of plutonium, 2. A millionth of a gram, could cause cancer if it's ingested.
Now, that's Unit 2, where they're talking about Unit 3. And I'll come back and show you Unit 3 one more time after. But that was the point of showing you this video, was also to make you understand why they're talking about it. I'll come back and play that so you can pick up where you left off. But they should have went to number 3, which was completely, utterly, 100% destroyed, yeah? Here we go.
Of radiation into the environment. And remember that Unit 3, which is suspected to have the breach, contains plutonium. Plutonium is the most toxic chemical known to science. A speck of plutonium, a millionth of a gram, could cause cancer if it's ingested. And so this has to be looked at very carefully, because if there is a full abandonment of the reactor site, if they abandon ship, we could be in free fall.
And even before we heard those words used by the Prime Minister, Doctor, we saw this in a Tokyo newspaper this morning, the headline that Japan's own Nuclear Safety Committee is thinking about upping the level here. Let's take a look at these numbers. 3 Mile Island in this country, we all know, was a level 5. Chernobyl was a level 7. That's the highest possible. And now Japan considering moving this up to a 6.
Well, the utility is the laughing stock within scientific circles, because obviously this accident has exceeded 3 Mile Island. At 3 Mile Island, we had one reactor sustaining perhaps 90% core damage, but very little escaped into the environment. There was no breach. Here we have 3 raging meltdowns in progress, 1 spent fuel pond open to the air, hydrogen gas explosions, any one of which already exceeds 3 Mile Island.
And Dr.
So any one of which exceeds 3 Mile Island. By the way, that was a lot bigger than what he claimed.
Obviously, we should be level 6.
Level 6.
They sent people in for 3 minutes at 3 Mile Island. For 3 minutes. So they were murdering people.
You point out, and we saw those eerie images just yesterday morning here of the ghost towns created near the Fukushima plant. I mean, are we looking at a potential Chernobyl situation where an entire region of Japan would be empty for years to come?
Yep.
Let's hope not. Let's hope they bring it under control. But if it goes to a full-scale
So this was 2 weeks after.
Evacuation of all personnel, it means that firefighters are no longer putting water onto the cores. That's the only thing preventing a full-scale meltdown at 3 reactor sites. Once they evacuate, then we pass the point of no return. Meltdowns are inevitable at 3 reactor sites, leading to a tragedy far beyond that of Chernobyl, creating permanent dead zones in Japan.
All right, Dr. Kako leading us through this day by day. We appreciate it again this morning on now 2 weeks to the day since this earthquake and tsunami. Dr. Kaku, thanks.
And so what did we learn? We learned that the media won't hesitate to lie to everybody. Let's come back to where we left off. Dana can never get to it. Right there. Broccoli kills stem cells that make cancer immortal. Stem cells, cancer stem cells are what makes cancer so powerful. But it's an extract anyway. But eating broccoli is really good for you. Grapeseed extract, effective against cancer cells. Grapeseed extract. Also grapeseed oil, just not large quantities of any of this, but regular quantities. But you don't have to do large quantities because your body can only absorb and utilize so much, right? So moderation makes it last a hell of a lot longer and is appropriate and is rational. The Italian 600 barrels was found on a beach in Somalia way back in 2004 after a tsunami. And this is what made Somalia, the black market, the fishery died on it, and why piracy became the number one thing was because for a decade before that or more, they were dumping the stuff off the coastline of Somalia from the Italian mafia that we know about. And this stuff is supposed to be in sarcophagus till the end of time that they still can't build. So this is why nuclear is such a despicable, unbelievable, despicable, pro-nuclear, just despicable, the worst of the worst people. Just having this happen once is the worst nightmare imaginable. The only reason nuclear exists is because they said this would never happen. No one would ever do something like this. They recognized back then it shouldn't exist, but they said, no, we'll deal with it. We got the technology. They still haven't. Right? They're still saying, let's put it in Yucca Mountain, but you put it in Yucca Mountain, something goes wrong, you can't get in there. Look at WIP, billions of dollars in the last couple of years. They still can't get into those places, never will. And the people who are going in there in the future are going to be highly contaminated. They won't give it up. They won't stop the misery machine. They won't slow it down. And because it takes 10, 20 years for them to get the street creds for these places, they're just going to keep using it, the one that's destroyed, because the licenses are still legal. And they got nothing else to do with it. And so they just keep shifting it among all these places forever, and they need billions of dollars all the time. You need armed guards to go out and dump it in the ocean. Got to have armed guards on the ship to drive it in the ocean, throw it in the ocean, and fuck you. Just fuck you. That's what the nuclear industry does for a living. They say, fuck you. Bring your children to the hospital. We'll give them chemicals from the chain reaction. So they murder your children. Everybody involved in that, they know they're murderers. Or they're stupid. They're unbelievable, gullible. 97% of the people treated by nuclear dies before they should have or would have without it. We know also every dog in every study, every animal in every nuclear radiation study died of cancers, of tumors, of autoimmune deficiencies, the illnesses, all show up long before cancer. That's why household spice protects against radiation treatment's horrible effects. So if they're treating you with radiation, which has a horrible effect, because it's fucking horrible, it doesn't treat you, it kills everybody. Right? They treat cancer with the very stuff that probably created it. Because they lived alongside of a nuclear plant, or their parents did, or they lived in a nuclear fallout zone from the nuclear testing, or they lived alongside of medical waste sites, or they were burning it in the incinerators, or it's from Sellafield floated over here during one of their meltdowns. Or spices are the most important things. MISO protects against radiation, cancer, and hypertension. Look it up, MISO. If you're just listening to the audio driving down the road, and I know quite a few people, and I know, like, my swearing drives everybody crazy. There's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it. I was never supposed to be here doing what I'm doing. It was supposed to be just me doing what I was doing without doing what I'm doing. See? Makes a lot of sense. Because we're dealing with this vicious, despicable nuclear industry. And I can't find anybody out there to tell the truth, to show the documentation, to raise that awareness, to bring in these connotations. Then I'm forced to gut out and make it happen. 17,000 containers of radioactive waste snuck out and dumped in the ocean. 19 ships containing radioactive waste snuck out in the ocean and dumped because it's clean and green and too cheap to meter. 14 nuclear reactors dumped directly into the ocean because it's carbon free, including 5 that contain the spent nuclear fuel, the reactor core. Because it's like a banana or a potato chipper walking in the sunshine. And 2 submarines with 2 reactors loaded with the fuel dumped into the ocean. Because Russia is at the forefront of nuclear technology. They're magicians. They bring it out and dump it in the ocean, don't tell you, and pat each other on the back and laugh about it, how they just killed everything in the near future. Ha ha ha! We just fucked the entire planet. Ha 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 ha! That's what they're doing when they do it. They give a fuck about you. But you better give a fuck about them. You better get your act together. You better make a fucking stand, because this planet is dependent upon you. So we're fucked, in other words. Mistletoe extract beats chemotherapy against colon cancer cells. You know, like, anybody gives their loved ones radiations because they've been lulled into that. It's not their fault. Right? You think that everything is, the system is there to help you and protect you because you're a fucking moron. You believe that shit without researching the basics yourself your entire life, dependent upon these lawyers. Like, your media is fucking despicable. Your journalists are despicable fucking people. In your communities, they're fucking useless. They're useless. They're fucking idiots. Don't have them for a friend. Don't have anything to do with them. They're useless parasites. They really, truly are. Your journalists in your community are a fucking waste. They're a waste. They proved it over the last 70 years. They can't tell the difference between a banana and a potato chip walking in the sunshine and a fucking nuclear fuel rod. It's time to give up on them. Your universities are hopeless fucking creatures. They're not humans. They're creatures. They're despicable, maniacal, dark, and demented, soulless, spineless, heartless monsters. You're the worst of the worst. And everybody in your university is a PR firm when the time comes. When it comes to the crunch, they're going to sell you out. When it comes to the crunch, they're going to stab you to death. They got the job because they have that mentality. Raw garlic. Raw garlic. Raw garlic. Oh, Jesus, too difficult, Dana. I don't know how to cook raw garlic. No, raw garlic. Well, Jesus, Dana, I don't have machines to make the fucking raw garlic. No, you go buy it. Well, Dana, you know, I got to drink beer. I got to smoke dope. I got all kinds of fucking porn habits. Yeah, but eat a bit of garlic. Yeah, but it makes me smell funny. Yeah, you smell funny in the corpse. Funny. Halliburton missing nuclear waste. Which Halliburton is a murder machine, war machine, right? Staging events so can get contracts in foreign countries. It's the genetic makeup of the company. That's why they started it, to do shit like that. And then we put them in charge of shit like that. Omega-3 fats help overcome multi-drug resistant cancers. Yeah, because you're trying to treat a cancer with a chemical concoction. Your body don't know what the fuck it is. Your body needs something that is indigenous to the planet. Something that is good for you, to treat something that is bad in you. Your body responds to natural food, not GMO. Well, it responds to it in a volatile way. It attacks all the residue of it for extended periods. And it taxes your immune system, your red blood cells carrying the nutrition, blah, 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 and the oxygen. Pomegranates. I don't even know what the fuck that is again. Superfood status. Pomegranatess. Someone will put in the comments section how to pronounce the word. Like, what? I can't hear it. I'm not going to learn it by fucking seeing how to pronounce it. Here's a fruit that often gets forgotten when most people buy their weekly groceries. Pomegranate? Who cares? It's a delicious fruit with the tiny seeds. It's actually super healthy. Yummy! And because you're wrapped in man-made radiation, they won't stop creating the fucking shit. Radiotherapy causes cancer. Blueberries kills it. So radiotherapy, when you go in to be treated for liver cancer or something like this, any cancers, they're making it worse. They're making it grow inside you. That's why 97% of the people die. DCA, dechloride acid, it's a mineral. It's a natural mineral. And it has an amazing phenomenon with cancer, including chemotherapy, which is a blood cancer. It's able to, as long as you're taking it all the time, it's able to keep that in check for the most part. We've seen that in my own personal life here. Causes cancer in blueberries. Radiotherapy is what they're doing to you in a hospital. You want to kill every cell in your body and then hopefully get the cancer cell. That's why all your hair falls out. And then hopefully you regenerate all new cells and cancer doesn't come back, right? And the best you can hope for is a remission when you're being treated that way. But most likely you're going to die a lot quicker than you would without the treatment. Right? Way quicker. We know over a 10-year period, over 6 million North American women were diagnosed with breast cancer but didn't have it. So you think the industry is not fucked up? 300,000 a year die with tools left inside of them after surgery. Cabbage is one of those healthy vegetables that doesn't get promoted as much as superstars like the broccoli and kale. Really good stuff, right? Kale's really good for you. Once again, you don't need to eat a lot of this stuff with each meal. Just a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Right? And so just this is what I do. This is how I eat each day. It's a very small plate of food generally. It's a very meager meal once a day. But it's full of all kinds of weird little shit, just little pinches. So a little bit goes a long way. It's true in my world. Atomic waste reported leaking in the ocean sanctuaries off California. That's an interesting headline and an important one. I was looking for this the other day and I couldn't find it. What I had done with it. Oh yeah, 47,500. I just found it before it went live. 47,500 drums of radioactive waste were dumped in 1946 to the 70s in the Gulf outside the marine sanctuary off San Francisco, 30 miles out. They turned it into a sanctuary because they didn't want you going there and finding it because it's shallow water. Really is evil. They're evil. Right? These fuckers will never... a lot of these people are alive right now that done that, are in power right now. A lot of these are teaching in your fucking universities and working at your nuclear power plant, at your regulatory commission, your IAEA, ERPA, UNSCLEAR, right fucking now. And their children are. Pure evil. Nuclear pure evil, man.
So you're an expert on the culture of Japan. You've been there for more than, 35 years now. Can you talk to me about the mindset of the faceless 50, those emergency workers who are ultimately risking their lives to save the country?
I don't think there's any other word to use for them except heroes. Of course, they come out of a Japanese tradition of gaman, which means to persevere, be strong, don't give up. Think of World War II. The Japanese fought bravely until the end. I think that strong mindset of keeping up in face of all difficulties is still here.
Well, when you talk about that strong mindset, and you mentioned World War II, at the end of it, we saw Nagasaki, Hiroshima just decimated there. And yet Japan went on to become arguably one of the most advanced countries on the planet. Are we going to see the same mindset again? They're going to recover and move forward with strength?
Well, I'm not sure. I think the economy will certainly rebound. I'm not sure that it will rebound in the same way as it did after the war. And I think it's because this time we have a background of 20 years of stagnation. And so Japan may rebound, but probably back to those stagnated levels, I'm afraid.
All right, let's talk about the Japanese government here just for a moment, if I may. The Japanese government insists that it's not withholding any information about the radiation levels or how dangerous it is, although the threat level has been raised to 5 out of 7, just not far behind that of the category for Chernobyl. Others suggest, though, it's being less than truthful. What's your take on that? Is the government perhaps imposing a policy of silence?
Well, I don't think that it's a clear-cut policy.
Now look at that headline in the bottom. Smoke rises from damaged nuke plant amid rush to reboot the cooling system. Rush to reboot the cooling system. You can't reboot the cooling system because it doesn't exist, nor does the fuel pools that would have been at the top of the building. These are official pictures. And Rupert is pretending he's inside of Reactor 4. And so we are dealing with a unrelenting... Like, these people are literally insane. That's the embodiment of that word for what they've got done. It's unbelievable. That yellow cap you see in there, that's supposed to be in the center at the very top of the building. Find a better depiction for you. This is what I'm confused with that one. I think that's a different reactor. Hang on. There you go. Yeah. See the yellow cap in the top center? Okay, well, look at the cap laid to the side. But you see those pieces left and right of it? That's the reactor cores. Parts of the reactor cores sitting on the deck. So the building blew up. The fuel pools are right. Anytime you're ready, Dana. Okay, sometimes they're not the quickest. So the fuel pool is right there where my finger is not. And then the fuel pools are right here where it's not showing you any rods. But this is just a cutaway shot. There's more fuel pools up here. They're up high. It's got to come out of the reactor, go up, come over, and come down into the pools. Pools will have 10, 20 years of fuel before they move it out of the building and put it somewhere else. And they change that fuel every year to 2 years. The full cycle is changed. But every 8 months to a year, they might change 1/3 of the rods. It's a very deceptive industry. It's a very remorseless industry. It has no qualms about lying, manipulating, and deceiving people. You can't get power back to something that doesn't exist. Right? But this is what they told you look like inside of the fucking buildings that don't exist. And you're still sitting there putting up with it? You're still on a fence thinking there's nothing... Well, it's not as bad as Dana's saying. Look at it, it's just destroyed. They're only faking it to shut Dana up, right? This is a depiction of melt-through, but the melt-through didn't include the fact that the buildings don't exist. Because they went right up the center, up to the top of the building, like the depictions I'm showing you, over and over and over, in desperation that somebody out there will tell the truth at some point besides me. I'm tired of telling the truth, but I get it. I got to. We got to try. That's all we can do, then that's what we got to do. More dead people. You never see somebody working. Nobody works there. No one finishes a job because it takes 10 people to do a tiny job because they all died one at a time. Everything about it is deception. You can look at it and see it's all destroyed. Yeah, no doubt about it, Dana. That's fucked up shit, man. That's definitely destroyed. So glad it looks like that on the inside, though. So, right, that means you're stupid. Because you sat there and took it. You sat there and put up with it. You should be in the fucking streets. If someone at the media says that, and they have over and over and over, come out and showed you that, you should be down there kicking in their fucking door, getting in their face, and putting the video up on the internet. You should be holding them accountable. That's your job. These people died because you won't do your fucking job. They were kidnapped off the streets. These are the victims of society. All of these are dead. All of these people are dead. You get that close, you die a few weeks later. If you just went that close and that's as close as you go, you die a few weeks later. The industry is so completely... It's just unbelievable. 30 million tons are already picked up by humans. 30 million bags. But no release. There's nothing to worry about. Will be recognized as your famous last words. You can't hook up the fuel pool when it doesn't exist. The reactor cores were up high in the building. They don't exist. The reactor pools were up high in the building. They don't exist. We're talking about multiple reactors. It's time to stop pretending we're not in trouble and start fucking screaming we're in trouble for the media. It's time to create the panic so we can create the technology. We can't leave a single corporation in charge. We have zero future. We have to fight with everything we got. We have to go up against the lawyers. We have to fucking bring it to them. That's the most bizarre picture you can imagine. That is the fucking strangest picture on this planet. Nothing there should be happening. That should not be fucking happening. They should not be dressed like that. If this is 1,000 years, they'll be dressed like that still. Oh, but it's clean and green and too cheap to fucking meter, Dana. This is the water filtration plant, which is nonsense. They're saying it's getting everything but tritium out, but tritium is radiated water. It can't get all the fucking radioactive isotopes out. It's the most ludicrous thing imaginable. They took all the money. It doesn't work. It couldn't work. It can't work. It never did work. It never will work. It's not even capable of working. You can't filtrate out something that can't be filtrated. That's why they got the site full of these fucking things. But they're doing it as a posturing. You can't filter that. That's not even water. They're mad. They're absolutely insane. In every sense of the word. Everybody there, just like Chernobyl, you got to do that every 30 years for 3,000 years. Not that that fucking helps. We live in an idiot society where only idiots are allowed to make the decisions. And I've been arrested for saying this. I've been vilified for speaking out because I'm one of the very few that does it. So get him arrested, smear him, get rid of him. Why they kill everybody around him? They won't go in there. They won't do that. They won't go in there and fucking stand up. You know those suits don't stop X-rays and gamma shines and neutron bursts? These are all fucking victims you're looking at. These people will suffer vicious health consequences 10, 20 years down the road if they're lucky to live that long. All of these people are fucking dead people walking. Look, this is buses picking up homeless and destitute and immigrants and victims of society for day labor into shithole where people never escape from. It's shocking. It's an utter betrayal. It's unbelievable, unimaginable, endless fucking money pit till the end of time, and nothing but hell can follow. It's a black hole of hell. Right by the ocean. What do you think? You picked up 30 million. Do you think 30 million one-ton bags worth went into the ocean? Yeah, after every fucking typhoon. It gets washed out. This is working for the water filtration system. You got to dress up, get danger pay, because it's like a banana and potato chip and walking in the sunshine. You got to do all of that because it looks like that on the inside of this. Looks like that. This is official pictures. If it looked like that, you wouldn't have 30 million one-ton fucking bags. Like we're living in this fantasy that is going to backfire on every creature, every human, and everybody. It doesn't look like that inside of that. And those people are fucking dead. Those people are dead. Because it's not like that. You think about the reality of anything you learned here today, and you can appreciate why I do the things I do, why I'm so upset, why I'm so vigilant, why I'm constantly burning back in their faces, why I'm constantly haunted, why I can't sleep, why I have fucking nightmares all night, every night, why I work so hard. It's so hard because we have to keep the conversation real. We can't keep pretending that it's a beautiful building. We can't pretend it's that any longer. Not another second. Not another fucking second. Every second we waste pretending that it's like that, there is a vicious price to pay for our souls, for our humble existence. This is what it looks like. Will never change. How is that possible? We're going to have to spend $1 billion in each of those buildings every year, minimum. for long after you're dead. $1 billion a year minimum. If we tried to do the right and moral and ethical things. We're going to do it because they're going to steal $1 billion a year forever and not do anything. Only pretend. Only make it worse because they're not qualified. They're not genuine. They don't care about the planet. They're trying to make $1. Like, we live in this society where we better go to war against these fuckers because they're going to war against us. There's the proof. I mean, that is the proof. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. And just let me hit a few more of those headlines before we call it a night. As we burnt through just about everything I had there. Like, the troposphere and the stratosphere is full of radiation. But the stuff that's coming in from above is nothing like a chain reaction. He thought that Reactor 2 would start burning inside if no way to cool it, and it did. And that's why he was so scared. Why was he scared? Because it wasn't like a banana. It wasn't like a potato chips. It wasn't like walking in the sunshine. It wasn't like getting on an airplane. It wasn't like... And it's not like anything we've ever seen before. The number 1 reactor melted down, started melting down 50 minutes after the cooling stopped. And the whole country, 400 kilometers of that country, 15 reactors lost their cooling. And they melted down, and the reactor core stored above them blew up, caught fire, melted down. The common spent fuel pools on the grounds melted down. You got proof of Reactor 1 came out. You got proof of Reactor 1, 225 sievers. That's proof. It's game over. 5 will kill you. It's proof that they lost 1/3 of the nation. They're faking it, that they claim they didn't. There's only 3 inches. 9,000 degrees Fahrenheit will burn through 3 inches quicker than you can butter a slice of bread with cold butter. And up to 1 million sievers right alongside of Unit 2. But it's only 666 on the inside. Do you get what they done to you? Do you get the trouble you're in? I hope so, because don't worry about it. I'm going to tell you 500 more friggin' times that, hey, I'm not worried if you're not worried, and we're not worried, and hello, everybody. Welcome. Once again, you can find ways to donate below, and if you don't, nobody will. The ones that do, you're my hero, and you'll always will be. And the ones that have, you're my hero, and you don't need to do it again. And the ones that want to, but don't know how to, talk to a friend. Give them $1 if they got a credit card, and get them to donate. Give them $1 if they got a PayPal, and donate. If the 500, 600 people that watched my video today all donated $1, I could do shit, man. But because I don't have any way to support it, I'm just an old, broken, cranky, miserable, disabled guy who's rebuilt his life in increments now over 15 years, is worn out, used up, and burnt out, fried, and every sense destroyed. I went out and done 260 days on the ocean, 15,000 miles of it. Coastline. You can find it all at the nuclear proctologist. We're talking about an extinction event. And all I do is I, in desperation, gather it up and come out and share with you. And now we'll spend all day today, all night, tomorrow morning, getting ready for tomorrow's show. And everything I've done today goes into the black hole where I never see it again, but you might. And if you can donate, do it. If you can't, don't worry about it. But if you can, find a way. If you got a friend got a credit card, because you haven't got one, but you can donate. Give them the money and get them to donate. It's safe, it's reliable, it's a real deal. No one's going to fuck with you. It's no different than doing anything else with your credit card. And you can do it at PayPal. The links are below. Directly to those ways to donate. It's simple as pie. We've done it for 3 years to get us to where we're to. And I don't know how else to do it. How am I supposed to do it? I don't know how else I can go about it. I'm not healthy enough to go out and get a job. I just spent 15 years in a hospital bed, and I'm still in it. But I do get up every day and meander my way through this. I do have to sleep twice a day, take naps to make it through for tomorrow. That's how I do it each day. I just burn out, and then I pull my bed back into this spot we're in right now, because this is my bedroom. I sleep for an hour or two, and I get up and I start again. And then I get up and do it again. And I do that every fucking day, and I don't think twice. I just get up and do it. Thanks for everybody. Take care, folks. We'll see you tomorrow, Friday.